this is Dominic, and welcome back. This is day one recap, and I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things I think about and have worked on that help me stay consistent and have green days. I will get into how I did today a little later on in the video, but I wanted to just discuss a little bit about some of the things I look for that help me get a good solid trade, and some of the things I try to avoid. So I'm going to try and do this. Mostly this is just to help me remember what I'm looking for and what helps me stay or get and stay consistent. So today what we're going to discuss, and I've written down some notes here, is trading with the trend. And this is something that has gone on, like if you watch other people's videos or you have done any amount of research at all, you'll hear tons of people say things like the trend is your friend, and it's absolutely true. If you look at the market and you see that it is trending in a certain direction, that's what you should be looking for, is moves in that direction. If you see that it has stopped going in that direction and is going in the other direction, you should not be fighting it and trying to go back in the direction it started to go with. I don't know if you guys watch Nutty Bar Trading, but I was paying attention today in particular. This is the 7th of January. I was watching his recap, and he had a rough day today, and he was showing his trades, and he was the beginning part of the day had trended up, and so he was biased long, and then it started trending short. So it just started trending short. It just kept going short, and he was so convinced it was going to go long, he just kept fighting it and fighting it. And I could see it, and I've been there, right? And I think all of us have been there, where you just get this, like, man, it's just going to go one direction, and so you just keep fighting it, and you keep thinking, well, this is the turning point, and I'm going to fight it now. And what I have found is that if you just follow the trend, look at it. Is it making higher highs and higher lows? That's trending up. If it's making lower lows and lower highs, it's trending down. I mean, it's as simple as that. And don't fight it. Go with it. If that's what it's trending, that's where you're looking for your entries. So that's one of my keys that I have really embraced and tried to embrace. There is caveats. There is situations where you can trade against the trend, but you need to have very, very specific entries and very specific exits in mind when you get into those situations. So today I'm going to show you the trades that I took today, and go over the recap. The last point I wanted to make is when you're looking at the markets, not only should you be thinking about which way the trend is. I like to zoom out and look at overall for the day. And what really helps is having the overnight open on your charts, because if you see that it is below the overnight open, you should be biased short for the day. That's what's happening. It is a short day, so that's what you should be biased automatically. And if you see it's above the overnight open, you should be biased long. And like I said, there's caveats. There's situations where you can be biased long if it's below the overnight open. But a lot of those situations, and I've taken those trades where you go long, but it's because it is trending long towards the overnight open. And when it gets within a certain distance of the overnight open, it is going to be attracted to it. and drawn to it, and you can take that trade and look for that move to the overnight open as your target. And I've done that trade lots of times. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples of this today, and this is one of the things that I use today when taking my trade. And we'll go over it. We'll see how it went. I actually did take just a single trade today, and I'm going to show you guys that trade and why I took it and how it turned out. All right, so let's go to the charts. Okay, so here we are. Here's the charts. This is what the day looked like. Keep in mind, this is Pacific Standard Time, so our opening of the market is 6:30. I never get to the market and be able to start trading until about 9:30. Okay, that's just the way my life works, and I just don't have the luxury of trading in the morning. I'm just busy. I've got small children and a lot of stuff going on at that time in the morning. I just don't have the luxury of being able to do that. So this is what I saw when I logged on, approximately. This is coming in at about 9:30 in the morning. And when I first got on, first thing I noticed, let me clean up some of this mess here. First thing I noticed is that this bar, this yellow dotted line at the top here, this is the overnight open. And what have we done? We had hit it and rejected off of it, and we were on a major downtrend. This is what I saw. And like I said, one of the things I was talking about is nutty bar trading. When he was here, for some reason, he just expected this thing to keep going up. And I don't know why. He wanted to fight it. And so when it came in here and came up here, he thought he was just going to take a bunch of long trades here, and it just was being rejected over and over. There's no way I would ever take a long trade in this position. You've got it not breaking any of the pivots to the left. This isn't a pivot, so you got a pivot here. You got nothing showing. Now, the only time I would ever take a long position, I wouldn't. There's no place to take it because you've got the 5-minute red line here, and you're south of it. This is all short. Anybody looking at this who's ever looked at any of Bob Anderson's videos knows that these are short trades. And there's some really good short trades here. Like this guy comes up, it breaks above the gold line, then it sits on the gold line and finally reaches up to the red line. And look at this beautiful red line trade. I mean, this thing goes all the way back down. If you can get into this with your pivot above, your stop above this pivot, you're golden. And then you could just ride it. And you could move your stop every time it makes a new pivot. And I would expect it, like if I'd gotten in here, I probably would have taken my profit off at a break of this pivot here. That's just what I like to look for, is the break of the pivot. And the way I think of it is like this. Excuse me. The way I think of it is like this. If somebody was taking a long here, where's their stop yet? It's at the break of this pivot. So where's the market going to go? It's going to go down and hit that stop, because that's what it's meant to do. Like that's what the market makers are trying to do, is hit stops. Where would you put your stop? You're going to put it on the other side of a pivot. There's a pivot here. Somebody has their stops here. That's what this thing's coming down to hit that stop. Same with this one. So I probably would have had it at the break of this pivot. I might have had it at the break of this pivot, looking for that move and taking my trade out there. But at any rate, I wasn't here at that time. And then it comes up and it rejects off the red line again. This is another entry you could have taken. It's made a new low. Rejects off again. This isn't an entry here, but you could have potentially taken another trade there if you wanted to, because, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have. But this is a reasonable another trade. You can see it's already respecting the red line. I mean, you could possibly take this based on the red line, except for I don't think that actually touched the red line in the real world. All right, so let's get back to where I came in. I came in, I look at the charts, and this is the first thing I like to do, is get an idea of what my bias should be. So I look at this and I go, okay, we are short biased. Just It's easy to see. It's below the overnight open, and it's going down. It's just going down. It isn't breaking this pivot. It's doing all this stuff, and I could already see by here that it was breaking back down. So at this point, I'm looking at the charts here, and I see that this is the all-time low of the day, and I'm thinking, that's where this is going. I mean, look at this. I'm like, this is coming back to that all-time low. And so I'm watching it, and I'm looking for an entry. And so this is one of the things I'm looking for. So it breaks and makes a new low, and I'm like, man, if only this guy would have touched. And I'm like, oh, let's just watch. So now here I'm watching, and it does it again. And right here, I'm going to blow this up so you guys can see it a little better. Let's see. So here, oops, there we go. So here we go, and I'm watching this, and I broke this pivot, right? And it came up, and look, it didn't touch the gold line. I'm waiting for it to hit this gold line. I want to take this trade down. And it doesn't, and it makes a new low, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to miss it. Because all I want is this move down to the red line. Because I'm thinking, if it breaks there, it's going to get down to this red line. But I'm also keeping in mind, look at this here. So you got these pivots all over the place. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to screw around. But at any rate, I'm waiting. Now, it's made a new low there, and it's on its way back up. And I'm like, okay, so the reality is this guy didn't touch the gold line here. When it sank down, it pulled the gold line down into it. And so I'm looking at this going, okay, this is a reasonable pullback into the gold line. Finally. We're finally getting a pullback into the gold line. This is beautiful. Right up into that gold line. Look at it creeping back up, and I'm like, okay, where can I get into my entry at? I think this is the gold line I was using, actually. All right, guys. So let's look at this. This is where I remember taking the trade, and I don't see the setup that I was seeing this morning, but it worked out. Like I said, I was expecting this thing to come back down to the red line here. And I think what happened, yeah, I think this is where my trade was. So what I saw is it came down here. It made a pivot low here, and when it came up, this one, boy, I'm trying to remember which one it was, because I know I took my trade off at a break of that guy. I remember that. But on my chart, I remember it came up and touched the gold line, and that was there. So it was a little bit different than this chart is showing. I don't know if I have these gold lines set a little differently on this than the one at work or not. But it was off of this pivot. So we made a new pivot here, and it came up, and this one actually touched the gold line before it broke. And once it broke, then I was sitting here because it broke down like this, came down into here. And I had my entry from above for a sell, and I came and I dropped it right here on this line. And it was down here screwing around. Then it came up, took me in, and then came back down, and I was just watching it going, wow, all right, perfect. So then I was looking at this line over here, and I originally had it for a break of the low because that's what I figured it was going to, and as you can see, it did. And I thought about leaving it there. And you can see how quickly it went all the way to it. So it would have been a pretty fearless trade. So what happened is it took me in, and it kind of went against me a little bit. And then it went. It just went. And it came down, hit my target. I think I had my target set, like I said, just at this line, I think. So with just a break of this candle here, and it came down and hit, and it went all the way down, and it would have easily filled all the way down to there. But I came out up $245 out of that trade. Let's take a look at what would have happened throughout the rest of the day. So here we go. Comes back down from an all-time low. So this is a classic pull into the red line here. So we would be looking for a red line trade off of that, and hopefully to come back and revisit the low of the day. But see, it broke right through. So once it breaks through, now we might be imagining that it is continuing. This is a real reversal here. So once it hits that and breaks through, you're looking for it to now come down and sit on the gold line and give you an entry. So it missed the gold line there, and it kept going north, and it gave you a pivot again. So once again, this is a good pivot. This one's a new pivot, pivoting down into the gold line. That's the first pierce of the gold line. So we could be looking for a long at this position. This is how I would trade it. I would have my stop set just like that, and I'd be looking for it to break that like that, and then I'd be looking for an entry off this. So hopefully it breaks that, comes back down, tests, gets me in, so I can have my stop below that, and then I'd be looking for it to go north, and that probably would have filled. My entry is at 485. I'd be looking for 495. So that's my 10 points right there. It would have filled like quick. So that would have been another $200 right there if I would have stayed and trade again. And then there's another gold line touch there, but it's too jaggedy, so there's no entry there. We'd be actually looking for it to fail at this point because you've got a bunch of indecision going on. And one of the things you can look for is how far you are from the overnight open. Okay, so now we've kind of reset. We've got a new high. We got a pullback into the gold line, so we got another trade opportunity here. I would have my stop at that location, wait for it to break above. It never does. So at this point, I would have my stop way the hell down here, and I would be looking for it to break above. Now my stop would be here, looking for it to break above, and now that it's broken below, we have no chance. So kind of like I said, see all this muttering around? It eventually is breaking down again. So we'd be looking for a pull down into the red line at this point. And almost had it. There's my pull down into the red line. So we could be looking for a bounce off the red line here if you wanted to go north. There's no trade there yet. And I think we're still above the red line here. Let's see. We are currently below the red line for sure there. So now we're looking for it to go south again. So it, like what I said, it doesn't really matter. I wasn't in any of these trades anyway. And that's the whole point of what I'm doing, is to just stay positive. So just to cap it off, for today, I'm up $245, day one of my funded account, and that's a good start. That's a really good start. I think that might be my best day out of all the days I've done so far. So let's jump into my calendar, and I'll show you guys my trade journal and where we are with that. All right, so here we are. This is my trade journal. This is what I did. I did one trade, one mini, $245, $3.98. We're up 25,241. Our target value is 26,600. In reality, my target value is 27,100 because I actually want to be $500 above this before I start taking any profit. if we look at my eval accounts, you can see out of all the days of trading I did, my highest trade P&L day was $205. So today is so far the highest P&L day out of all of my trading days for this account. So that's pretty amazing to start out that way. And what my plan is if I get up a $500 for the week, then I don't even take any more trades. $500 is great. If I can get 500, I'm done for the week. I don't need to mess around. I'm not interested in trying to get greedy. I just want to take it nice and slow and get it to a payout. So that's it, guys. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. I know I've got a couple people that keep coming back and watching me, and I appreciate it. And if you want to get notifications, you just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can be notified. All right, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are having green days out there, and I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we're going to keep these recaps coming, and we are on our way, guys. We're on our way to payout. Let's go. Let's get it. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.